This video is brought to you by 1985 Games, the makers of the DungeonCraft tabletop RPG accessories line. And we're going to take a look at one of those products today, the DungeonCraft Volume 2 box. Now, these are laminated, dry erase, wet erase marker compatible maps and tiles. DungeonCraft also makes these nice maps that go along with those tile pieces. And like the tile pieces, the maps are fully laminated. You can use wet erase or dry erase marker right on them. Here, I'll draw a little reef. Looks dangerous to me. And hey, voila, it erases. And because these are plastic laminates, they're very non-porous. They work a little nicer with these markers than some of the other types of maps that you might have seen that have that kind of more thick vinyl to them that roll up. I find those really get stained over time and take on the color of especially the red and blue markers a little bit. I don't think we'll have that problem here. And also, like I said, you can use the dry erase on it quite handily. Like all the maps in their line, this map is two-sided. So this side is the water side we were looking at. And here we have this sort of wooden plank, wood floor side, perhaps for a very large building or castle-sized fortification. Let's look at the water side again, though. I want to show you one of the nifty tiles that comes in the DungeonCraft 2 set that we were looking at. So we've got this nice ship tile piece. Like all the other tiles, it is two-sided, so you have a slightly different map on the other side. Most of these tiles also, they have a dotted line, and you cut out the tile on the dotted line so that your map grid on the tile just lines right up with the map grid for the actual map. This water's gray. I'm not sure why. The water is monochrome on this and blue here, but hey, you know, what you gonna do? If you really wanted to, you could get fancy and cut along the edge of the ship, which I don't know, I might do for extra credit myself. Now let's take a look at some of these building tiles. These you can cut out again along these dotted lines so they match your grid. You could put them on a map of a forest or a clearing. They do make several other maps. This happens to be the map that we got to review, but they have several individual maps like this you can buy. Again, all of them two-sided. It's a little different scene on each, just like this has the water on one side and the wooden floor on the other. And you can see here we've got a little furniture for our building room. We got some kind of divan or something there. This flips over into a little, looks like kitchen-y area that is apparently covered on top. Not sure why. Is that outdoor? I don't know. And then we've got a couple of whole sheets of dungeon or room furniture here. Double-sided, presenting different options. Here we've got the messy bed on this side. I like that. Bed all made up on this side, bed all messy on that side. Kind of fun if there's a battle going on in the room and somebody moves through that piece and you flip it over because they messed the bed up. This looks like, what is this? A mimic? That's a mirror mimic? Crazy. So on this side, here's the mirror. Flip it over and the mimic coalesces out of the mirror. We have a couple of large kind of castle interior looking rooms here. And this shows how on some of these tiles, there's this rooftop. So you could have this sitting here. This map represents a section of a little town or something. PCs don't know what's in this building yet, but they get there, go in, you flip it over. In this case, oh, look, it's kind of empty. Might be an upper floor. Here's a fun circus tent looking thing here in this corner of this sheet. And if I flip this guy over, we've got a couple cages in there, maybe some dangerous circus animals in there. Similarly, you can see these smaller circus tents with maybe little living quarters inside of them. And I really like this idea that you've got the top of the building until the PCs come across the map and go in, and then you can flip it over and they can see what it looks like inside. Here's one such very large building. So here's the roof of the building. PCs arrive and go in. Oh, look, it's stables. With horses and pigs? Pigs, I think. Or tiny pink bulls. On this sheet here, we've got these nice roaring hearths. Almost actually looks like a little lava bed. It's like a hearth with lava coming up in it. Maybe the castle was built on top of a lava flow, and they figured out how to heat the castle by piping the lava through these things. I think it's actually supposed to be a fire, but, you know, I got imagination. That's why I play RPGs. And, of course, your typical rhinoceros and roaring fire combination is on this sheet. You know, classic combination. Who doesn't love to curl up to a roaring fire with their pet rhinoceros? And oh, look, on this side, the fire is put out. We've got this scary looking little religious ritual room of some kind here. Looks like we've got some blood sacrifice going on. We got a sword or a dagger, some bowls of blood, some bloodstains, and we got skeletons. I'm not sure why the bloodstains look fresh and the skeletons look like they've been there a while. And then if we flip this guy over, we've got this gleaming rune circle here, almost as if when the PCs walk in and do or say something, maybe it sets off some magic and you can flip this guy over and go, bam, you're dead. I'm going to call that the TPK room. Now, something that I think is really cool here is just the sheer variety of room layouts. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each of these because these are pretty plain room layouts, but that means that they're very utilitarian and functional. You cut out a bunch of these and you can have a bunch of these different little buildings in this village, wherever this adventure is taking place. There's just really a lot here for you to work with. Very nice looking art. And we have quite a large set of dungeon corridors, dungeon rooms. We've got some stairwells here. And these reusable dungeon corridors of various types. Very handy for something happening in the middle of a little dungeon crawl. You know, you just need a corner or a little passageway, and you can just bust one of these out and do that. There's also a fairly large set of tower levels or rooms. Well, they're levels because we've got stairways here. Up here, we've got some kind of magical symbol. This is probably a wizard's tower. Classic. Classic. And what I think is cool about that, I cut out some of these wizard tower levels to show how I could see this working. Now, I've just got this wood floor map to work with today, but they do sell, as I said, the map with the grass texture, forest, or what have you. But, you know, the PCs maybe are approaching this wizard's tower. They go inside, and I've got these stacked up here where maybe they see this as the first level. They go up the steps. They do whatever here. Maybe they fight something. Then they go up the steps. They're in the second level. A bit of a maze there. There's really no pictured stairway up from here, but if we imagine there is, you know, maybe the last level is the one that's right under the roof tile. And this looks like it's where the wizard sleeps. That's a nice looking, well-made bed. This is an unusually shoveled wizard. I usually imagine wizards being very disheveled and disorderly, but this wizard is quite organized. Must be Elminster. I feel like Elminster would be a pretty organized wizard. He just seems like the button-down wizard type, you know, as opposed to like Mordenkainen. Mordenkainen kind of strikes me as the Silicon Valley tech bro wizard. Something that really caught my eye when I was going through these tiles and I thought was pretty cool they threw in is this particular tile here. It's, of course, a hut, but oh, look, there are bones in the roof thatch. And then if you look even more closely, you'll see, oh, there's huge bird feet and legs the hut can walk on. And this is clearly probably a reference to something like Baba Lysaga from Curse of Strahd, who is basically Baba Yaga. Baba Lysaga has this animated walking hut that can move around and smash people. And if we flip it over, we've got the interior here, of course. This is reversible like all the other tiles. Something fun you can pop in the game to really get that specificity in there. And we've got these Baba Lysaga-like tiles. Size large there, and she's got her little chicken friends, which are also available as tokens. These came with this set too. So it's got these little mini themes inside of it. It's pretty cool. Now, I mentioned this before, but again, these mats work with both dry and wet erase markers. So you've got something going down in this room. Somebody puts down an area of effect spell. You can just say, that's the area. And these erase right off here, very clean. Even this dry erase is picking it all up really nicely. Let's say you've got a web spell going. You can draw out the area that the web is ensnaring people in, however you want to do that. Very handy. And again, erase is clean away. As soon as you need it, gone. I thought this was a pretty cool accessory. Usually for my home game, I use the big rollout mat that I mentioned before that's a little thicker and more of a soft vinyl. And it takes wet erase, but it's a little porous. And that over time, that wet erase ink does kind of sink into it and make it look a little bit permanent. It's got a little blue cloud on it here and there, and a little black cloud on it here and there, because it's not the same thing as laminated paper like this is. But more importantly, I have to hand draw everything on that map. I like this idea of bringing out these little individual tiles and being able to use them for very specific things without a lot of effort on my part. They just look a little nicer. They give more of an idea of whatever the thing actually is, even if it's a little tree in the landscape. But at the same time, they're flexible enough that it isn't like those mats you buy that already have everything printed right on them and you're just stuck with that highly specific thing. To me, this is a nice little hybrid of the marker-based mats and tokens with a little bit of design in them, a little bit of actual color. The building looks like a building. The room looks like a room. It's a very nice middle ground between these two approaches. A downside that I saw to it was kind of a little bit of the tedium of cutting out the tiles, but for the price, I'm willing to do it. It's not that bad. These boxes are $44.99. There's a lot in here. You can see on the back of the box here, it tells us over 800 terrain pieces are in here. So it's a lot of bang for your buck. That's our look at the DungeonCraft Volume 2 set. And if you're looking for other ways to shake up your game and do things on the fly a little bit, check out the review of the Deck of Many Things set, also on this channel and linked just below my face. Thanks for watching.